Starting in a minute and 16 seconds. True stories. All sources listed at end of video. Homicide. Be sure to follow the links and show your support to others. True crime across the states. Abuse. Abduction. Violence. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We researched and gathered different information online to bring the stories to you, to help raise awareness about true crime going on around the nation. NickelCity.com and urge you to be aware and stay safe. Welcome to our series, Nickel City East and Scificentral's 187th Street. Stop domestic violence and raise awareness. Presented by me, Baby Doll. Let's get into it. Hello everyone and welcome. The pandemic has been tough on us all. But for one 20-year-old woman by the name of Mary Collins, her life ended and her family's lives ripped apart forever over what can only be described as a senseless, cruel, and brutal killing carried out by individuals who masked themselves as friends. I am here in honor of Mary Collins, whose description encompasses character that was nothing but loving, beautiful, forgiving, and eager to have friends. Mary Collins struggled in life due to a disability that was cruelly taken advantage of. I would like to begin her story by courtesy of her family and loved ones who paint a clear picture of what it was like when Mary became missing on March of 2022, leading up to the recovery of her remains in an apartment mattress on April 5th, 2022, only a few days after being reported missing on March 30th. I encourage you all to join the group Mary's Voice on Facebook to show support and do what I'm here to do today, which is amplify Mary's story to the world and encourage you to be a part of the fight along with her family to get justice and things changed to ensure the proper safety protocol for those with disabilities. Here's her story. Please pay attention to what's in front of you, because these individuals actually really tried to elude the family and act like they were trying to be of some assistance and help in this case. And it's just sick. Even sent them text messages in the process of them trying to find me. It's really sickening.
Shocking crimes they've ever seen. It happened right here at this upscale apartment complex right in the heart of Noda. A young girl with special needs tortured. The details of the crime, utterly unbelievable.
She had such a light about her.
I thought she was a beautiful girl.
She was so stunningly beautiful, and she didn't even realize that.
Very sweet and loving, and she was silly.
And she just had an innocence about her.
Mary Collins was just 20 years old.
It's just so hard to believe that this happened to somebody so sweet and innocent.
Kara Williams is Mary's aunt and says Mary was born with a rare genetic disorder that made life challenging for her.
She actually really had the mentality of like a 14, 15-year-old.
Do you remember when I carried Nancy up the stairs? Yes.
She was just such a sweet person that she expected everybody was like that. And So she was very vulnerable and very easily manipulated.
On March 28, 2020, at the start of the statewide COVID lockdown, police say Kelly Lavery and Lavi Pham lured Mary to their Noda apartment. The couple sent an Uber because Mary didn't know how to drive. Pham and Mary had been friends in high school and briefly dated. Pham was now dating and living with Lavery.
You say I pull myself together.
They took her whole life away from her and from us.
Tell me what the hell.
Police believe Lavery, Pham, and their friend Jimmy Salerno brutally attacked Mary. Autopsy reports show she was stabbed more than 133 times.
They tortured her and just let her bleed to death and die. And then they just put her in their mattress and were hoping to dispose of the mattress with her body in there.
Police say Salerno called a fourth person, America Deal, then just 18 years old, who he'd recently met on Tinder, to help clean up. Search warrants turned up Cascade dish detergent and pumpkin spice shower gel, reportedly meant to mask the smell. Then, according to warrants, they wrapped Mary's body in saran wrap and duct tape and put her in the mattress. During a bond hearing for Deal, attorneys argued she should be out on bond, claiming she was forced into helping hide the body and that Kelly Lavery was the one in charge.
Cause when you fall, you gotta get up. You gotta get up and move on. Tell me how the hell can you talk? How can you talk?
He'd been bullying Mary on social media for months.
I remember seeing the comments, "Ew, nobody would want you. If I were you, I would want to disappear as soon as possible."
Mary's grandmother believes Lavery and Pham got Mary sushi in the hours just before they killed her, then posted video of the three of them together to make it seem like Mary was fine. Mary lived with her grandmother, who tracked her phone to the Noda apartment. When Mary didn't come home a day and a half later on March 30th, her grandmother filed a missing persons report with CMPD. Warrants say around the same time, Salerno started talking.
That Jimmy told this witness that he was at a party with Mary and that Kelly and Lottie tied her up, beat her in a bathtub, and they later hid her body in a mattress and wanted to burn the mattress.
Where they say Lavi Pham agreed to let them do a search.
Lottie then walked the detectives to the master bedroom and lifted the mattress himself.
But detectives didn't find anything. How did the detectives miss Mary's body?
Mary was very well concealed.
Then 2 days later, the witness called police again, insisting Mary's body was there. This time, detectives went in with a search warrant, shocking neighbors at the Noda apartment complex.
You don't know how I feel. How I feel. How I feel. Till it happens to you, you won't know. It won't be real. No, it won't be real.
The mattress.
Police charged Pham, Lavery, and Salerno with murder and concealing a death. America Deal faces charges of accessory after the fact and concealing a death.
I think that they're evil. I think that they are what evil looks like. 100 times, and then they hid her in their mattress. To know that this happened to Mary, who I just know was so excited to go hang out with some friends, and I just can't imagine when they started to turn on her, the fear and confusion that she was feeling, and then just to think what she went through is it's so horrible. It's so horrible.
And I just can't believe how mean someone could be, again, to someone who is like a child.
The hardest part is thinking about the torturing that Mary went through, and that she's gone and we don't get her back, and I can't take any of that pain away from her that she experienced.
And here on earth, everything's different. There's an emptiness.
have to mention how painful it is to know how much her family really pushed to the point of sitting outside of the apartment complex and even going to the front door and going in there themselves. And Fam and Lavery, who are some real cowards, was having the nerve to report them to police, and the police told them to stop harassing them. Oh, it's just heartbreaking. Be sure to join the group Mary's Voice on Facebook and show your support. Mary Collins, a beautiful 20-year-old woman, was tortured and left to bleed to death. With 133 stab wounds, she was stuffed in a mattress during the initial COVID-19 lockdown. Mary Collins disappeared during the week of COVID-19 lockdowns in March of 2020. On March 27th of 2020, Governor Cooper issued a statewide North Carolina stay-at-home order. And because Mary went out with friends, her family already planned on her quarantining when she returned. Mary Collins was a 20-year-old who was described as lovely, gracious, and kind. Her elementary school teacher used the word innocent. When speaking with others, Collins was also described as vulnerable and sweet. She was described as someone who always saw the best in people. And although this story wasn't widespread, police described this crime as one of the most shocking crimes they've ever seen in Charlotte, North Carolina. Collins' aunt, Kara Williams, described her niece as lovely and silly. According to Collins' elementary school principal, Carolyn Horn, she remembers the little girl who always wanted to hug her in the halls, and also described her as a beautiful girl with an innocence about her. The nature of her death was appalling and difficult for many to understand. It was hard to believe this happened to someone so sweet and innocent, said by her aunt Kara Williams. Collins had a disability. She was born with a rare genetic disorder that made life challenging for her. She had the mentality of a 14 or 15-year-old, although age 20, and a severe speech impediment. Her disability is called deletion syndrome, which can have multiple effects on a fetus during development, leading to complications during a person's life. And this condition caused Collins to be born with an internal cleft palate, resulting in a significant speech impediment that ate away at her confidence, leading to her being timid when speaking with anyone outside her family. Collins struggled with simple tasks like counting change and navigating around her neighborhood. Her aunt Kara Williams also mentioned that Collins was just a sweet person and expected that others were the same, which made her very vulnerable and very easily manipulated. On March 28th of 2020, at the beginning of the statewide COVID-19 lockdown, police say Kelly Lavery and Lavi Flam, I pronounced that incorrectly, lured Collins to their apartment. Because Collins didn't drive, the couple sent an Uber to come pick her up. Fam and Collins were high school friends that had briefly dated. Fam was now in a relationship and living with Kelly Lavery. Collins' aunt, Kara Williams, said that she thought she was going to hang out with friends, and they took her whole life away. After Collins didn't show back up after her outing, her grandmother grew worried. She lived with her grandmother at this time, who had tracked her phone to the Noda apartments where Collins didn't return home on March 30th of 2020. Her grandmother then filed a missing persons report on March 30th, 2020 with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. And I would like to mention that The family didn't really have an understanding of why they had to file a missing persons report, because they clearly tracked her activity and it stopped at that apartment and there was nothing afterward. During this time, her family saw what was believed to be her last video before the brutal murder was committed. Collins' family believed, while watching the video, that Laverian Pham got Collins sushi and then posted a video of the three of them together to make it seem as if Collins was fine. The family stated that Lavery was a jealous, mean-spirited type and insists Lavery had been bullying Collins on social media for months. They say the comments were awful. In the midst of all the heartache and agony over wondering where Mary could be and pushing for the police to go into that apartment where her last location was tracked, a guy showed up who was friends with a man named Jimmy Salerno. According to this friend, Jimmy Salerno told him he had been at a party with Collins and that Lavery and Pham tied her up, beat her in a bathtub, and later hid her body in a mattress, and that witness reported it to the police. And they were also later planning to burn the mattress, so it is a good thing that her family stayed outside of that apartment complex until police moved. The police then went to the Noda apartments where they saw Pham, who agreed to let them do a search, even walked the police to the master bedroom where then he lifted the mattress, but somehow they did not find Collins, who was wrapped and concealed in that very same mattress. 2 days after the initial consent search, the same witness along with the second witness went down to the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department to talk, insisting that Collins' body was still in the mattress at this apartment. And this time around, police went back with a warrant, leaving neighbors at the upscale Noda apartments in shock. This time around, after a more thorough search, Collins' body was found. The mattress had to be fully opened in order to find her body concealed within. Search warrants showed that Cascade dish detergent and pumpkin spice shower gel had reportedly been used to mask the smell of Mary Collins' body. According to warrants, Lavery, Pham, and their friend Jimmy Salerno brutally attacked Collins. Police also said a fourth person was called, named America Dill, who is age 18 and had recently met Jimmy Salerno on the dating app Tinder. According to warrants, the four of them wrapped saran wrap and duct tape around Collins' body and hid her in a mattress. On April 5th of 2020, 3 days after the initial witness came forward, Pham and Lavery were arrested at their home. Lavery was reportedly passed out to the point of police having to rouse her in order to arrest her. Salerno was arrested at his university area home the same day. Dill, however, had fled to Colorado and wasn't apprehended until June 2nd of 2022 and was later extradited to Charlotte, North Carolina. During a bond hearing for Dill, attorneys argued that she should be out on bond, claiming she was forced to help with the body, and Lavery was actually the one in charge. Dill described Kelly, Lavery, the co-defendant, as the ringleader, and that Kelly was giving orders to everyone as far as what should be done. Police charged Pham, Lavery, and Salerno with kidnapping, murder, and concealing a death. Dill faces charges of accessory after the fact and concealing a death. After a long, grueling wait for justice, June 30th of 2022, Kelly Lavery pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, concealment of a body, first-degree kidnapping charges, and was sentenced 25 to 32 years in prison. Lavi Pham was also present in court and pleaded not guilty. The trial date for him will be set at a later time. Salerno also pleaded not guilty, and America Dill had an administrative court date on July 7th. When I dug and did some more research to see if I could get any more details on this case, because I want to remind everyone this case is still current and going on. It just happened during the pandemic, so there isn't much out right now, but I grabbed whatever I could as far as details as to what happened when Mary arrived to that apartment, and this is what I found. I found that Kelly and other suspects were accused of asking Mary to have a threesome. Mary refused, so Kelly and the suspects are accused of getting mad and putting Xanax in Mary's drink. Mary drank her beverage unaware that the Xanax was in it. Shortly after, Mary passed out. The suspects then put Mary in a bathtub and cut her up, and then placed her in a mattress. I would like to give much respect to WCNC, who has been on top of this story from the very beginning. I encourage you to go over to WCNC on YouTube for their full news story on Mary Collins. Until next time, be safe, aware, and if you know someone out there who is suffering, speak up.